Bound to this earth, we humans, made of it. Elements surround it, make of it. Breath is the air, lively and quick, sanguine. Energetic is the fire, restless and changing, choleric. Rigid is the earth, strong and persistent, but melancholic. Pure is the water, calm and stoic, phlegmatic. Stable is the wet, shifting is the dry. Withdrawn are the cold, outgoing the hot. Bound to this earth, we humans, made of it, but elements surround us and make us humans. May they not clash within you, lest you lose your balance. The game of the clash of the elements is supposedly set in the late medieval and early Renaissance periods. The game was supposedly played by scholars, monks, students and masters who wished to hone their minds and intellects while also reminding themselves of the four temperaments and the four elements. The game comes with its board, on which a long poem about the elements and the temperaments are written. The board, as can be seen, is divided into four quadrants, all of which symbolize their elements and the corresponding seasons. Between these seasons are written the equinoxes and the solstices, as well as the qualities of hot, wet, dry and cold. The game is crafted with wood, various paints and some paper. According to Parlak's categorization of board games, the game is somewhere between a chase game and a displace game. A displace game because all of the players will have the same tokens that will have the same movesets. However, it is a chase game because the players will have to pick 3 between the 4 elements, and they will have to place their tokens on the starting points of the board as they would wish. This asymmetry makes it more similar to Hnafatafel rather than chess. The board of the game of the Clash of Elements comes with a small compartment in which its tokens are placed. The tokens are as the following. Making a total of 10 tokens, 5 of which are square and 5 of which are circle for 2 players. The tokens are colored according to their elements as well as the symbols upon them. Blue for water, green for earth, yellow for air, and red for fire. As well as the tokens, the board also comes with a parchment on which its rules are written. To play the game has to be first set up as written in the rules. To do that, a coin is tossed. Say a player said heads, and they lost. This means the other player will have to start and choose a starting element. Once the coin toss is decided, the player who won the toss decides on their first element. Let's say the player decided to take fire as their first element. They would take a fire token from the compartment and place it on its corresponding place, which in this case remains all the way in this corner, which is written as fire and which stays above the summer season. After the first player chooses their first element, the other player has to start with a water token, which is opposite of fire. They take a water token from the token pool and place it in its corresponding square. A After the starting elements are decided by the winner of the coin toss, the loser of the toss decides on which element to take other than their water token. This must be something other than water or earth, because every single player will start with an earth token, as is dictated in the rules and as is written on the board, which says, "Bound to this earth, we humans, made of it." Therefore, the player who has chosen to take the water token takes an earth token and, let's say, an air token, which is different than an earth token and different than a water token. They will now place their remaining tokens in the place in front of their starting elements. Let's say they decided to place their tokens like so. Now the turn comes back to the person who has chosen fire as their starting element. The person who has chosen fire as their element also gets an earth token. And they decide to take a water token from the pool, which they will place like so, or like this way. There is, however, an exceptional starting rule which dictates that if one of the players starts with earth as their starting element, they will start with 2 earth tokens, which would rather be impossible to have 2 of the same tokens otherwise. And once they take their 2 earth tokens, like say this way, they immediately take their other element. And let's say they took air. This means that if the winner of the toss decides to take earth as their first starting element, they can just choose 2 earth tokens and one of the tokens they wish to have immediately. Once the setup of the game is complete, the players should read the rules. The rules dictate that the very middle square in the board shall not be moved upon, and every single token according to their elements have a moveset. The movesets of the tokens are written in the rule parchment. Air tokens can move 2 spaces, but these 2 spaces must be in line with the air token. This is written in the rules as a swift gust of wind. The water tokens can move like the knight in the chess moves. However, an addition of moves are available to the water tokens, which goes on to the left and right side of the water token. For example, this water token, when it's placed here, could move all the way to these spaces that are like L. However, to counteract the fact that it is hard to play with a single knight-like token, these tokens can also move left and right to adjust their placements. This way of movement is present also in fire. Fire can move like the bishop in chess. However, its movement is limited to 2 spaces. And just like water, to counteract the way that fire tokens would only move to certain spaces due to their limited movesets being diagonally, these tokens can also move left and right. This fire token, for example, could be able to move to all these spaces, as well as right and left to adjust their positioning. Last but not least, the Earth tokens. Earth tokens can move to all the spaces that are near them. This Earth token, for example, now can move to all the spaces around it. The game itself is played turn by turn. The player who has won the coin toss becomes the first player to play their tokens. First player to take the other's 2 tokens wins the game. To take a token of the rival player, one must move their token on top of the other players. This way, they will take this token out of the game. To solve the problem of ties, the game rules also dictate a rule called principle of balance. This rule dictates that a token cannot be played 2 consecutive turns unless it is used to take a token of the other player. This means if this player has moved their Earth token this turn, and once their other turn comes and they want to use this token again, they cannot do so. They have to use another token, and let's say they use this one. Now, if their turn passes and comes to them, they can again use their Earth token, but not on 2 consecutive turns. Lastly, a token that has been moved from the starting base shall not return to the base again. That is to say, this water token, while it was here, cannot move here again, as it has already left the starting base. Bound to this earth, we humans, made of it, but elements surround us and make us humans. May they not clash within you, lest you lose your balance.